Hi guys, back again. My name's David, otherwise known as Premium Blu-rays, and this is part two of my end of year watch list. This is films that I have watched because I believe they have a good chance of getting into my top films of the year, or even my all-important top 10. So let's get right into it and see which films that I watched recently. So I watched a film called Makeup. Makeup is streaming actually on BBC iPlayer, which was really cool. I know it was a film that I wanted to watch before the end of the year because it sounded interesting, and it was just a movie that I went in completely blind, which is always good. I mean, completely blind. I had no idea what it was about. I knew that Molly Windsor was in it. She's also the actress in the TV series The Girls, and she was wonderful in that. And she is the central kind of kingpin of this movie. Her performance in this film is fantastic. It's a strange experience to watch a film like this because I was 40 minutes in. I had no idea what was going on, as in I didn't know what was there going to be a big reveal. It's a film about a girl who is she goes out to stay with her boyfriend in a holiday camp in a caravan, and she discovers that he's having an affair, and it's basically a film that I expected to go in a certain direction. Kind of, I thought it was going to be like Midsummer or The Wicker Man or that kind of thing, and I was like, yeah, this is like a horror. This is definitely a horror film, I thought to myself. And you could argue it's a horror film, but it's not. Well, elements of horror, but it's not a horror film. I'm not going to say what the film's about. I'm not going to give anything away because I think it's really cool when you like, I get it now. The director is very, very clever. It's using editing, sound. The sound is incredible. Just, very, very cool camera work and building atmosphere, building dread. It's a really hard film to review because it's very original, and as I say, it's best not to know really anything about it. What I would say, what was interesting I found, and which I find this a lot, you watch a film, at the end you kind of think, yeah, it was a good solid film, but it wasn't great. And then a few days later you keep thinking about it and you go back and you adjust your kind of star rating and you think, oh, I want to watch this again because I want to watch it with the knowledge of knowing what's coming next. Yeah, it's a great little movie, and I would it's on BBC iPlayer at the moment, so yeah, go and check it out. So I watched a film called Beanpole from 2019 that's now streaming on Mubi. It's a film that's in quite a few people's top films of the year, or last year. It's Russian though, and I'm a big fan of Russian films. And when you look at the film poster and you read the subject matter, you're thinking like, oh, okay. But I mean, and it is a film kind of a desperate people in desperate times doing desperate things kind of film. So it's pretty depressing and pretty desperate. It's post Second World War Russia, and two women coming out of the war who fought in the war and readjusting to life, and it's about their incredible relationship, which is it's a relationship that is manipulative on one side, very, very touching on another side, and complex, very complex. The movie is very intense. It's intense emotionally. It's very intense in a filmic way, that the colours are very vivid and bright, lots of green. It's got some great comedic elements. There's a short sex scene where a guy breaks his arm. I won't say any more than that, but hilarious. So a lot of things added to the melting pot. A lot of things going on in this movie, and as to put it mildly, I think the time period and the subject matter will probably alienate a lot of people. But I watched it with that mindset, and as the film unfolded, I was really engrossed because the plot is pretty intricate and pretty labyrinth and really interesting. So it's definitely worth investing your time in the movie. And it's got one of the best lines in a movie ever. He'll heal us. He will heal us. Blew me away. Wait till you watch the movie. Wait till you hear that line and you'll know what I mean. Really fantastic film. Stunning performances. And yeah, if you like again, it's one of those movies that right up my street. It's challenging. It's got great. It's a brilliantly made movie. It's got fantastic acting. It's got a good story. You know, what more could you want? What more could you want from a movie? Has it reached my top 10? Wait and see. Is it my top 25? Of course it is, for goodness sake. Beanpole, yeah, really, really good stuff. Okay, so a film called A Son on Netflix from 2019, directed by Chang Mong Hong, who is a director, cinematographer and writer. The film is on Netflix, and all I can say is after watching it for 2.5 hours, it is 100% in my top 10, maybe even in my top 5. It's incredible. And maybe I liked it because it's very similar to Waves, which is probably my second favourite film of the year. I'm giving away my top 5 now, my top 10. Oh dear. Yeah, this is epic. It's a long, epic film about a family. It is heartbreaking. It blends various genres and elements: drama, comedy. It's got extreme violence, animation. It's got a great story. It's great. It's got everything. It's one of those films that's just got everything. I mean, at the heart of the story is about a broken family and the relationship between father and son. But I think it's one of those movies that, you know, you think about words like it's beautiful, it's poignant, it's depressing, it's violent, it's funny, it's challenging. I mean, I could go on. And when you have a film like that, sprawls across 2.5 hours, then for me, you're reaching near cinematic perfection. And the fact that it's East Asian makes it even more interesting for me. It's easily one of the best films I've seen this year. It's had life lessons in it as well, so I learned quite a lot. So I'm a little bit lost for words actually on this movie. It's very easy to watch because it's on Netflix. So I 100% recommend you watch A Son. It actually won Variety's Best Film of the Year, or I think at least won their critics' Best Film of the Year, which really surprised me. But at the same time, it's nice and refreshing to see films like this getting the accolades that it deserves. Watched a film called The Last Tree from 2019 on Netflix. Not so impressed with this movie. Story that's been told before, about a guy who's in foster care and then comes out of foster care, life least, and his life turns to crime. But the film has got a lot of elements that try and elevate it from the norm. The score is fantastic. Parts of it are. It's a very strange juxtaposition where they use kind of old-fashioned music, like it wouldn't be out of place in Chariots of Fire, with kind of cool, sassy synthesizer kind of score. So very unusual. Acting's great, very technically proficient. Probably one of the best scenes I've seen in a film all year. A tracking shot, which is just incredible, and actually is kind of the kind of cement the pivotal scene of the film actually, and the way the director uses a really clever camera technique to cement the pivotal scene does elevate the film. But you know, it's a film that I appreciated, but overall I'd say it was a standard affair. And would I recommend you watch it? Yes, if you've got the time, I would say. And it is, you know, a newcomer, new actor. Shola Amado is a new director. So yeah, maybe support it. Trying to convince myself now, aren't I? But yeah, I mean, I wasn't overly impressed, but I'm glad I watched it. Yeah, so I watched a film called Baby Teeth, an Australian comedy drama from 2019, directed by a lady called Shannon Murphy. It's got Ben Mendelsohn in it, who's a great Aussie actor. I remember him in Animal Kingdom. This film is going to be really difficult to review or to describe because it is very, very original and very, very quirky and quite strange. There you go, that's my review. The subject matter has been done many times before. Seriously ill teenager in remission from cancer meets a boy. Been done many times, but not done like this. The characters are wonderful. All the characters in the film are wonderful. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's very distinctive. It's great use of music, and got some great dance scenes in it, which I always, I don't know why, I love it. I love seeing dance scenes in movies. I think it's something that maybe only the Australians could produce. Something about their kind of comedy that only seems to be an Aussie thing. I don't know. And I think that it's a film that, again, you have to go in completely blind. You have to kind of... It isn't a lot of people's favourite films of the year, so I'm not surprised. And it felt like it was a movie that, you know, is gonna become a cult movie as well in the future. Still processing it, as you can see. I absolutely loved it. It is going to be in my top films of the year. Not sure it will be in a top 10 yet. But you know, and again, once again, you know, words spring to mind. It had sadness, hilarity, you know, it's funny. Had suspense, a very suspenseful scene in it as well. Drama, comedy. I could go on. It's got, again, a lot going on. And that's always ticks a box for me when a director tries to meld and mix genres and just make it original, try and make it different. There's so many films you watch these days, you know the beginning, you know the middle, you know the end, and it's okay, you know, but I try to watch films that are going to be a bit different and challenging and subversive and unusual and quirky, and this film, Baby Teeth, is all of those things. Okay, so I watched a film called Spontaneous from 2020. It was on the $1.99 Prime Video rental. I watched this because I'm a bit of a sucker for cool, sassy teenage comedies. I mean, I was heavily into John Hughes when I was younger. I love films like Heathers, Booksmart. I mean, the darker the better. And this movie is a fusion of comedy and horror, which is interesting to me. And it is it's a fantastic script written by the guy who wrote Underwater, actually, a film that I saw this year that I really liked. And it's got an amazingly charismatic performance by a girl called Catherine Langford. The film's peppered with hilarious one-liners and sentences, gems, whilst delivering a commentary on what it means to, you know, to be an adolescent or a teenager. So once again, a movie that is a melting pot and mixing up genres with comedy, drama, horror, you know, social commentary or whatever, and uses music to great effect as well. It's got a Susan Stevens song in it, 4th of July, brilliantly done. And I think any movie that uses an ice cream van for a teenage boy's mode of transport to, you know, impress the girls is on the money for me. You know, it's not going to be a movie that's going to make my top 25 or whatever, probably, but great fun and very clever. If you like films like Booksmart and Heathers, like I said, then check this movie out. It is definitely worth watching for sure. So that's my part 2 of my end of year watch list journey in readiness for my top 10, which I will be doing obviously at the end of the year or beginning, you know, in the new year. Thanks for watching. There will probably be a part 3 and a part 4 coming in the next week or so watch out for that. But yeah, thanks for your attention and stay safe.